The Final Fantasy VII Remake is going to suck. No matter what. Final Fantasy VII is one of my favorite games of all time. It blew me away when I played it as a kid, and it continues to blow me away to this day, as a bigger kid. It is my personal barometer of what makes an amazing story. Whether it's great memorable characters and how they're developed, world building and making a believable fantasy setting, implementing powerful themes and metaphors, or just plain creating a gripping plot that elicits every emotion you can think of. It doesn't matter what medium a piece of art is in, the first thing I do is try and compare it to Final Fantasy VII. And with that, let's mosey and get on with explaining the ways the Final Fantasy VII Remake will definitely suck compared to the original. Midgar and scale. One thing I'm tired of hearing when it comes to the remake is people talking about how great it would be to explore all the sections of Midgar. What they fail to understand is that to expand on Midgar is to miss the point of Midgar, and its brilliant use of scale. Scale is something that Final Fantasy VII got better than most games you could think of. A story that begins with a band of eco-terrorists fighting a greedy, selfish but ultimately human corporation becomes a great battle to stop a deranged demigod and an alien parasite from sucking the life out of the planet until there's nothing left. Many of the driving themes throughout the game are the same, but the scale is much bigger. That great understanding of scale also applies to Midgar. The city is the perfect introductory location, a microcosm of the wider world of Final Fantasy VII, a self-contained universe where most of the themes and social commentary of FF7 are well represented. Midgar feels like a truly massive city teeming with life. It feels like there's no end to all the amazing sights it holds. It does that despite barely showing you any of it, and that's the point. Our universe feels so massive because we have no idea how big it is. Mysterious things like ghosts, aliens, and Bigfoot are only mysterious because we haven't uncovered them yet. Sometimes, something being undefined is what makes it so fascinating in the first place. Assuming you aren't a member of an uncontacted tribe in the Amazon, chances are you live in a city, or a town, or even a village. In your daily life, you can only know so many people. Most are total strangers. In the city you live in, you can only know what's happening on your own street, maybe even your local neighborhood. Most of us probably don't even know what the rest of our city looks like. It's just a mysterious, undefined mass that we try not to think about because it makes us feel uncomfortably small. Midgar replicates that feeling of undefined scale perfectly. It only shows you the locations that are relevant to the story, and fleshes them out to a huge degree. The slums are incredibly detailed, with homes that have bedrooms, electrical appliances, random human clutter, and most importantly, toilets. I mean, how many games have you played that don't even have a single freaking toilet? Too many! The slums also have shops, restaurants, bars, parks, churches, gyms, and even a red light district. It feels like a space that is actually lived in, and that's critically important for world building. Since the two sections of Midgar you're allowed to explore are so dense, in our mind's eye we are able to simply imagine that, well, surely the rest of Midgar must be equally dense. Just like in real life, we don't need to see it to know that it's there. This also applies to the upper plate, which we see even less of. You get to see flashes of its splendor, cobblestone streets, tiny brick buildings, otherworldly lights, and shiny machinery. But here FF7 pulls another trick out of its hat. You never actually see how the upper class live, and you don't really need to. FF7 is a game that takes place from the perspective of those living in poverty, from the lowest rung on the social ladder. Just like in real life, though we can assume the wealthy live great lives, we can't really imagine it. It's very difficult to imagine the lives of people from a completely different social stratum, and that feeds perfectly into FF7's narrative. Now let's talk about how long Midgar actually is in-game. For some people, the Midgar section took them about 5 hours to complete. For other people, it was around 10. I bet we can all agree, however, that it feels a lot longer. And that's due to the fact that there isn't a single repetitive section in it. It's constantly fresh and new. In several hours, Midgar delivers more thematic and narrative value than most games, And when that rush is over and the game finally drops you onto the world map, half days we can all say to ourselves, holy shit, that was perfect. And that's the point I'm trying to get across here. Midgard doesn't need filler, and it doesn't need pointless side quests. I just don't see how making Midgard any longer is going to be beneficial in any way. It's just going to bog down and damage the experience. Remember all the shit they added in the Hobbit movies that wasn't in the books, and totally wasn't half-assed? Yeah man, fuck fighting Smaug, it's all about that barrel scene! Does Final Fantasy VII really need stuff along the lines of,
hey bruh, can you help me out bruh? Kill 5 hell houses for me bruh, I need some screws, life's tough.
No, it really doesn't. To sum this up, Midgar is great and they should leave it alone. Thanks for watching, and be sure to tune in next time for part 2 of this Final Fantasy VII analysis series. This has been your pal Gubru, and you know what to do.
Whoa! Just like, subscribe, these videos, they take me so long, so long. Give me a laugh and I'll make some more shit. Yeah.